All right, welcome to task 34, Better Buy. This one is a real life one. I probably use this every time I go shopping. You've probably used this before, whether you realized it or not. And now we're going to kind of go through the math of it, how you use it. So we already did unit rate, which is essentially what it is, but it's Better Buy is really when it deals only with money. And picking the best buy for when you're comparing two similar items or two similar brands. So this one is going to be, you're going to have a digital assignment that you're going to submit that's going to be collected. So you're going to go through this one and then you're going to have one to do on your own. So make sure that if you have any questions, you ask and you're able to do it. All right, so when we look at finding the unit price or the unit price for each, we're going to do that as we did. So we've already found unit price, but I'm sorry, I take that back. We found the unit rate. Now we're going to find the unit price. So unit rate is anytime you're finding the price per unit. Unit price is, I'm getting all mixed up. Unit rate is anytime you're finding the rate per unit. Unit price is anytime you're finding the price per unit. Now I think I got that. So when you're here and you're doing this, like in the last video, we found unit rates. So we found rates per unit. But here we're going to push it a little bit farther and we're going to find prices. So this is where you go into a store and you say like, okay, do we want to go with the smaller one or the bigger one, and maybe why? And we're actually going to talk on our live about like why this matters, because this is actually a really good life discussion. So we're not going to get into it here because obviously I'm talking to a screen, but we'll talk why certain decisions would be made. But ultimately, the way you want to do this is money always goes on top. Okay, so you had a little bit more choice when it was the unit rate, but when we're doing the unit price, we always put the money on top. So we're gonna leave the money sign off, but we're going to set it up so that it's money on top and then units on the bottom, so how many you're getting. And then we want to calculate. Now I am going to use my calculator because we're allowed to now. And we're going to round to the nearest cent. Now, rounding to the nearest cent means we're rounding to the nearest hundredth. Okay, we still want to be, remember, the final is still around the corner and it's cumulative. So that means we want two places, which means we need to look at the third. So 0.85 divided by 3, we get somehow I turned to my, eraser. I get 0.283. So the 3, we're rounding to here, the 3 makes the 8 do nothing, so it's 0.28. So 1 can of cat food is 28 cents. Okay, so olive oil, I get 14 ounces of olive oil for $3.59. I put my money on top. I divide it by 14. I get 0.256. Now, a lot of these they'll be in the cents, because if you think about it, unless you're paying like a lot for things, you're usually paying like cents on the dollar for per ounce, per can, per pound, per whatever. So a lot of times they will be, less than $1 for things. So we're looking at the 6 to decide what to do with the 5. So we get 0.26 because the 6 rounds the 5 up. So olive oil is 26 cents an ounce. Whoop. All right, so ground beef. So we have $19 and we're getting 8.5 pounds. All right, so this one is a little bit more, and that makes sense because if you look in the store circulars, if you hear ads, meat, especially now during the pandemic, hopefully time capsule this video when we watch it back in a few years, when I'm teaching this in a few years, hopefully, and people are like, oh my God, pandemic, what are you talking about? Right now, the cost of meat is being driven up, obviously by the demand, supply and demand. And, I bought a skirt steak, and I got it was like a pound and a half and it was $20. So if you figure that out, that's a lot more than cents on a dollar or cents on a pound. So this being $2 and 2.235, remember, we want 3 places after the decimal for ground beef. This, I would say, is relatively cheap. I know that for organic meat or even natural beef, I pay like $6.99 a pound. So $2.24, that is not expensive at all. All right, probably not realistic. All right, for $11, we can get 4 pairs of socks. And this comes out to an even $2.75, no rounding necessary. And that to me seems a little expensive, but I don't know. I usually get my socks in bulk and they're like the no-show ones. So, there you go. There you have it. That's how you would figure out the unit price of just a purchase, okay? Now, how are we going to do a better buy? Well, essentially you're just going to look at comparing two different buys that are a similar item. So we're going to do this for the 3 cans of tomato sauce for $1.49. So $1.49 for 3. So that comes out to be 0.496, and it's actually repeating. So that rounds to 0.50. So that's 50 cents for that one. And then if I do the other one, $2.39 for 5. And that is 0.478. And that rounds to 0.48. All right, so the next one, we have the juice. So $2.25 over 24, because again, money on top. We're looking for rounding to the nearest hundredth. Money, we always want 2 decimal places. That's how we know it's the hundredth. And we get 0.093. So the 3 does nothing to the 9, so it's still 0.09. And then we're looking at 3.79 over 40. And we're at 0.094. Now, this is where it becomes important, because if we look at these, you might say like, oh, well, neither of them's a better buy because, they're both 0.09. Okay, well, kind of. This and this both look the same at this step. However, if you go back to the previous step, and this is where you're comparing numbers, this is where, again, you are smarter than the calculator. This is where the previous chapters, all that work you've done for the more than half of the semester, the first half of the semester comes into play. Because when you've been comparing numbers, 0.093 and 0.094, you know that 0.093 is the smaller number. So technically, this juice is the better buy. And I'm sorry, I got paused before, but this tomato sauce is the better buy up here, the 0.48, because we're going for smaller. All right. I think that's all on that page. Let's go to the next. All right, looking at sugar now. We have 2.35 over 4.4 pounds. And we get 0.534. That 4 does nothing to the 3, so we're at 0.53, 53 cents a pound. And over here we get 4.99 over 10, which is 0.499. And that 9 does do something to the 9. It bumps it, but when it bumps it up to a 10, we can't put the 10 there, which bumps the 4 to a 5. So this actually becomes 0.50. But it is still our better buy. Because 50 is less than 53. All right, a bag of rolls for $1.89 for 8 of them. It's going to give us 0.236. The 6 rounds the 3 to a 4. And then 3.79 divided by 18. 0.210. The 0 does nothing. And I think all my better buys were on the right, but that was not by design. I did not do that on purpose, but the 21-cent rolls, 21 cents per roll is our better buy there. All right, so now looking at number 9, this is a really good real life question, and it's something that's really relevant to your life. So we have a box of national brand cornflakes for $2.09 for 12 ounces. We have a box of store label cornflakes for $3.09 for 20 ounces. Find the unit price for each. So I'm just going to label, this one's A and this one's B. Okay, so A is going to be 209 over 12, and B is going to be 309 over 20. So we get 0.174 for 17 cents. And this one I get 0.154. All right, so the B, the store brand, is a better buy at 15 cents. So assuming both brands taste equally good, which brand is the better buy? It would be the store label. by 2 cents. Okay. Now, it says if you have a 30-cent coupon, this is where things get dicey. Which is the better buy and why? So here's what we have to do. So 30% off the national brand. So national brand was A. See up here, national brand. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to say, okay, well, national brand was $2.09, but we're taking off a 30-cent coupon. So that's going to be $179. So now I'm doing 179 divided by 12. And now it's 0.149. And that is 0.15. However, rounded. Again, think about what we talked about in that last one. This is 0.149 not rounded. This is 0.154 not rounded. So rounded, they're the same, but not rounded with that coupon. The national brand becomes the better buy because it's cheaper with a coupon. All right. See if you have questions. You are going to end up doing the independent collected assignment on your own digitally. It's a little bit different than the previous one. So take a go at it and let me know if you have any questions. And I will see you soon. All right. Take care. Bye.